My good people, we are now live on Facebook at Mwalimu Affairs Facebook page. So you can invite your friends, tell them that you know what, something good is happening with Arrosto Ben and the Mwalimu Affairs Facebook page. And today we are here to share so much about, sorry for that. You can tell them that something good is happening here. Now, my good attendees, my good teachers, welcome to our today's show, Mwalimu Affairs. This is where I tell you is the best talk show for you teachers to develop yourself and also to be able to gain more information about how to become the best version of yourself as a teacher. Today, we are honored to have two people on studio to help us navigate through or discuss today's topic, which is teaching for an impact. By that, we mean being able to teach, beyond the classroom, beyond the chemistry subject, beyond the physics, beyond the mathematics, beyond the English, beyond those subjects that we teach in classroom. How can we be able to create more impact beyond those subjects by either being role models or by ways of, being counselors or being anything else that will be of great benefit to our students. So that's what we are discussing today. I hope that you are ready. You have got your pen and paper set. And it is now my honorable duty to invite my guests in the studio. I have Mr. Duke Onsure. He is a teacher and a guy who is very much passionate about what we are talking today. Teaching for an impact and teaching for an impact. Mr. Duke, maybe you can say hi to us.
Well, thank you, Mr. Rostoven. Good afternoon, and
Good
welcome
afternoon
to
to
our
you.
show. I believe teaching for an impact is a very good and invented and innovative concept, especially in this generation that we are bringing on. And I believe at the end of this show, someone's life is going to be impacted, especially someone who is in the line of teaching. And it will go beyond the boundaries of our normal operations to reach out to many others. And welcome, everyone, viewers. I believe you will enjoy the show. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Duke. You've got such information, you are full of information. You can be able to tell this. Let me bring on board our gorgeous, beautiful lady. She is Waboy Eva. Again, she is also a teacher and she is also passionate on matters impacting. And Madam Waboy, maybe you can say hi to us also.
Oh, okay. Hello, Mr. Ben. A roast to now.
Yes, call him Ben, call him Arosto. You are very much welcome.
Okay, so it is true that this is a very important topic, especially for all teachers, because I believe it's the role of a teacher to impact the future of a learner. Because what you do as a teacher in high school is definitely going to translate to what the student becomes after they are done with the school. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me to give a few 1, 2, 3 that I know about teaching for an impact. And I hope everyone who's joined is going to enjoy. So welcome to all the people who are viewing.
Wow, thank you so much, Madam Waboy. And I'll start at that point where you said that, it is more than classroom. That is what the student becomes after school. And I would start by asking you this question. Does it mean that teaching is more than the normal subjects that we know from your understanding?
Definitely. I'd say there are two types of teaching. There is the classroom teaching, and there is the personal teaching that a learner, you don't have to really teach them. It is what you do sometimes that they pick up, and then they continue doing that after they have left school. So, for example, if you were in school, then you admired your teacher of English. Why did you admire that teacher of English? It's not only just because of how she taught or he taught. It could be how she was dressed, how she addressed you, how she responded when you asked a question. So those few things definitely will always impact a child. So if that teacher of English, every time you ask a question, they will intentionally listen to what you're saying and then give you a comprehensive answer that then tells the student it is okay for you to be a good listener. And being a good listener is going to make people like you more because it shows that you're interested in what they're saying. So I believe it's not only about the classroom, it can be about what you say or what you do that the child will observe and carry on after they are done with school.
Meaning that from what I have gotten from you is that our students are not only concerned with what we do with them, they are also concerned with how we do our things. That's what you are basically saying. And I
Yes.
think with that point, then I bring Mr. Duke on board at this point and make us understand. Does it mean that teachers are ought to be role models? Is that what it means, Mother Duke?
Well, Mr. Ben, thank you very much, and for Madam for the introduction she's given. I think to get this one clearly, it's important to first look at what is this that we call an impact. To understand how our teaching for an impact, first we have to get what is this impact. We know an impact is an effect, is an outcome, and an outcome can be positive or negative. And it's important for us as teachers to understand that at times as you teach, there are possible outcomes that can be positive or negative depending on how you situate this or how you approach the concepts that you are handling. For instance, in my line of duty as a teacher teaching chemistry and physics, I didn't say that from the beginning, but you introduced me so. So it's possible that as I teach, I can impact the learner positively depending on the attitudes and the skills that I instill in this learner. But it's also possible that if I don't take care, I can also impact the learner negatively, depending. For example, if I'm teaching and my approach is kind of tribal based, this learner will live with an impact that, I mean, this education is just for intimidation and not just straightforward. So in that case, for us to understand or to break down the topic for better understanding, we need to approach it with a perspective that as a teacher, you may end up affecting the learner positively or affecting the learner negatively. But again, Mr. Ben, that it's not only the learner, but also even the colleague and even the surrounding and even the society, because we are not in isolation. So it is true that as we teach, there are outcomes, and outcomes are real time. Some are long lasting, some are short lasting. But we should endeavor out of this discussion to look at how we can positively impact the lab. Thank you.
Wow, I love the way you have actually broken it down for us and be able to know to make us understand what it really means to impact. I want us to put on hold at that, and I bring on board another guest. She is Happiness. I hope she is able to get a screen. Hello, Happiness. You are very much welcome. You are
Hi,
not
how are
late.
you?
We are doing good. What about you?
I'm also good. Good to see all of you.
Good to see you too. We are live on Facebook. We've
Sorry,
already
Welcome.
started.
I can't hear you. I don't know if it's my sound.
Okay, maybe you can check, and Mr. Duke, you can confirm, am I audible from your side?
Yes, yes, you are very much loud and clear, Rostoven.
Then I think
Okay, so
Madam
it's my
Happiness.
sound. It's okay. No, don't worry.
Okay, maybe as you fix your sound, we can hear you. Maybe you can. Okay, let's wait for her to be able to come on board so that we can be able to include her in our discussion. Now, Mr. Duke, there's something that you mentioned before I wanted to bring Happiness on board. You talked about impacting positively and negatively, and in this case we are striving, we are looking into how we can be able to impact our students positively and also be able to make them to make them experience what we are impacting them for. And maybe Bwana Duke, you can expound this further to us and make us understand what are those things that, or how is it that we can be able to achieve this from your understanding?
Well, I believe that, Mr. Ben, I believe that to impact, it's purposeful. You have to plan. It's not something that will come by accident. And you therefore have to prepare yourself on how you want to produce an effect on someone else. Remember, we are all human beings and we influence behavior. So to influence someone's behavior, it's something that has to be done over time and consistently, with repeated or expected outcome of repeated results. I can say for sure that people say that teaching is a calling, and I want to agree with that. That it's not just a matter of going to stand before the learner. You have to think of this learner to be in a given situation, and you want to move that learner to another particular situation. This will involve a lot of planning, purposeful planning, whereby you intend that this learner, there are some attitudes or some skills you expect that after a given time, this learner should now behave in a particular way. For example, there is a learner who has low self-esteem. What are you going to do, even as you teach chemistry, so that you impact and influence this learner to, first of all, understand your subject, but most important, appreciate him or herself as a human being who is equally important as others, despite the challenges they come through. So these will take into consideration trying to understand the background of the learner, among others, trying to understand where the learner is coming from, what really the learner has in mind, even before you engage. For example, we passed through a hard season where some learners come on empty stomach, just hungry, some with insecurity issues from their background. So to impact this learner positively, it is a generation or is a moment where a teacher doesn't just have to go to deliver their content, but you have to impact this learner so that going back, he can also appreciate life. But unfortunately, in most cases, I think our curriculum has packaged us into an aspect of pushing the syllabus, and therefore we've forgotten this very important aspect. You can produce a learner with an A, but zero impact in terms of his life or her life.
Wow,
Or
wow.
zero input. Thank you.
Wow, very strong that you can produce a student with an A, but with a zero impact in their lives. Madam Eva, what do you have to say about that?
That is so true, because I know of situations where you have an A material student, he or she gets an A, but they have zero social skills. They cannot stand and talk to people. They cannot be able to lift their hand and ask a question. They cannot be able to just walk and take their CV, then talk to the person who they are supposed to get a job from and tell them, I need a job because I have learned this in school. I want to become this. They cannot express their idea from what they have in mind to what they say. They're not able to speak it out just because in school they were not given, not just in school, they haven't really learned the outside of the A. They have only learned the A only. So as teachers, I believe we are one of the people in this world who can help change the students into the direction of them being able to also be socially skilled, to talk to people and present their ideas. That way they can now be able to, at least after school, they will be able to become better people after that.
Absolutely correct. And I agree with you also that it is more than that, more than the subject that you've taught. You need to help them gain those other soft skills, because that is what will keep them, will propel them towards whatever they want to go to. Madam Happiness, welcome on board. Although you are a few minutes late, don't you worry, we have not really done so much. If at the time you are joining, Mr. Duke was sharing with us and he was telling us that for you to be able to impact a student, for you to be able to bring a difference into that student, you have to understand where this student come from, and more to that, you need to tell the kind of a student that you are. But on my side, I'm waddling. We as teachers, we've got so much to do. in classroom, you've got lesson plans to prepare, you've got schemes of work, you've got, record of works to fill, there are exams to mark, there are assignments to mark. There's so much for us to do. I mean, don't you think that our basket is full or our plate is full for us to, get into understanding our students' mind about where they come from?
Yes, I was talking to myself.
It's okay, it's okay. We can hear you now.
Yes, it's true as you've said, our basket is full. But again, we have to ask ourselves, what's the objective? At the end of the day, what's the objective as a teacher? What do you want to see? And then number two, if you're able to answer that, then it calls for you to put more priority on the answer. And for me, I believe it's about transforming that life. In as much as we will do all the technical stuff and all the paperwork, it's very crucial for us to produce human beings who are useful, who are holistic at the end of the 4 years or at the end of the time that you're there. So then that will mean that you need to infuse, maybe in your lesson, you need to infuse or just inculcate those skills that you feel are necessary for a student to know. Like just tell them, this is real life. Hey, this is real life. Besides the chemistry, you will need financial stability. You will need to be an emotionally stable human being out there. So just finding a way to infuse that in the particular lessons or subjects that we teach would really help. And it's also good because now we have the life skills and there's a syllabus for that. But again, you don't have to restrict yourself around that. So if you have a life skills session, then that is such a golden opportunity to also do that. Yeah. And also outside the classroom, we meet them during tea time and all that. Just be relatable to them so that you can be able to hear them out. Because I also realize there is a huge generational gap. So sometimes we are telling them things and they're like, what? Where do they live? Which world? And all that. So you need to hear them out. What do they want to know? And then that will give you a basis and a platform to just help them become holistic students.
Wow, and from what you've said, I can deduce that you are basically telling us that for us to be able to do this, there are two things that must happen. Number one, we must be creative on how we are going to do it. To realize the objective, and number two, we must be ready to sacrifice. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's how I can summarize it. And again, allow me to bring Mr. Duke on board again. Madam Happiness, from her words, she says that we need to sacrifice and we need to be able to be creative for us to have that impact. And she also mentioned about life skills, but from where I sit, I don't think this time is enough. The life skill lesson is enough. I don't think that the 24, not the 24, but the number of days from 8 to 4, 5 days in a week are not enough. Can we have a program for a weekend? Do you think it's something that teachers can be able to adopt?
Thank you, Mr. Ben and Madam Anne, for that wonderful contribution. Actually, what Madam Anne has suggested and she's putting forward, I was to look at the impact in various ways. How can you teach for an impact? To impact this learner socially, to impact this learner emotionally, impact this learner mentally, impact this learner even economically. There are some learners that need even to be impacted spiritually. And lastly, of course, most important, and that's the core of a school, is academically. Now, we've seen that with the time constraints and the basket ever full of activities from A to Z, but as we stated from the word go, teaching is a calling. And therefore, when we prepare to have these learners on board, we must think that this learner is not fully packaged unless all these aspects are brought on board. For instance, it has always been seen and it's obvious that time is very short for all these activities. For example, the physical education. But again, even looking at the new model of the system, the CBC, the curriculum that is to be launched or that is ongoing and is to come to higher levels, they
Yeah.
have really tried to capture all these aspects. Why? Because teaching has to move to be impactful, and the learning from the learners also has to be impactful. So that's why you can see that in the selection of even the subjects they are going to take at higher levels, there is even sporting activity. There are even subjects like physical education. It's now a subject which is
Yeah.
examinable. And in the past, it has just been in the timetable. You can choose to do some physical activities with the learners, and sometimes maybe not seriously taken in. But at a level where we are now seeing the government putting a lot of emphasis, then it's true. Teaching has to go to another level. Teaching for an impact.
Wow, I like the way you put it and actually brought it, I mean, mentioned CBC. Allow me to, first of all, remind our viewer that you can also be part of this show. You can also be part of our guest list. All you need to do is to share or to request for the link to join into, into our webinar and be able to share your thoughts. You can also be able to leave your comment through our Facebook channel, our Facebook page at Mwalimu Affairs for us to get to see your views. We shall definitely give you a shout out if we see that. Now, let me come back to you, Madam Waboy, Eva. And Mr. Duke has talked about, how the direction into which that you need to choose where you want to impact your students. But maybe before we even choose the direction, I believe there are different qualities of an impactful teacher, or there are qualities that teachers need to adapt for us to be able to impact. Could you be having any from your side?
Mine majorly is a teacher being willing and ready to associate with the learners at their level, not as a teacher, but as their almost as their age mate, to the point that they are willing to easily explain to you what they are going through, so that with that now you know, what do I do as a teacher with this information that has been given to me by the learner. So for me, the first thing is be a very good listener to any time the student is expressing something that is not class related. Sometimes we tend to forget that we are not there just as class teachers. We are also there as role models, as mentors to these students. Some of them have never seen outside of their environment. So they're looking up to us to enable them to see the outside world. So it is our duty to first listen to them. Then we are now able to pick up from what they say, the ideas on how we can help individual learners, not as a group. So individually listen to them, then you are able to attend to them individually and help them through.
Absolutely. And you've said it well that we need to be good listeners, before we came live, I was reading something to do with Educans. Educans is an non-governmental international organization. I think it has some uh, headquarters somewhere. I think it's in Netherlands, but they have their offices here. In the last year, they started their programs. They are calling it Teaching with an Impact. That is the program that was launched. And during that time, I was listening to one of their facilitators saying that what teachers lack are the skills, that's number one, for them to teach for an impact. And number two, what teachers are lacking is the know-how. Other than the skill, they also don't know how to teach for an impact. And at that point, I would bring Madam Happiness on board and ask, then if we don't have the skills, if we don't know how to do it, then shall we manage it? And definitely the answer is no. So how can we get these skills? How can we be able to get the knowledge on how to do this?
Yeah, okay, thank you, Ben, once again. Personally, I think there are several ways that we can do that. Number one, of course, like Wamboi has said, is being able to understand what these students really need. Yeah, in fact, that is the most important, because if we don't understand, we will tell them a lot of junk which they will not be able to consume, and then on this other end, we will be left saying, hawa watoto wa siku hizi ni vichwa ngumu, they don't care, they have a don't care attitude, yet we are the ones who have not tapped into understanding who they are and what they really want and what are their fears, what are some of the struggles that they have. So being on the ground really is extremely important. And then now on the other side, maybe the technical bit is what TSC is offering, the teacher professional development, that is TPD. I believe when you go for TPD, part of what you're equipped with is to deal with the 21st century mind. So we should be able to attend to those trainings and just sharpen our skills. Also, maybe just trying to understand from our seniors, because there is always the seniors who have been there in the education. And of course, in as much as the generations are changing, there are the core values that may not change. So it's trying to understand how have you been handling students in the past, and then we see what can we borrow from that. Yeah, so we don't copy paste the whole thing, but we can be able to see what are some of the things, because there are things that are common and which do not change in as much as the trends are changing, the systems are changing and all that. So being able to tap into the senior teachers, that would also help. So for me, those three things. And like we said also last time, maybe we can add a bonus point if you are able to also grow yourself, because I have found this, sometimes teachers can be very insecure, such that a small behavioral act from a student is a trigger. And if you're not secure enough, you end up beating that student, you end up tearing them down, telling them they are nothing and all those things. So it's very important to also remember to grow ourselves as individuals, to make sure that we are stable emotionally, really, so that when we are meeting these students who are having all these things, we are not snapping out and getting so triggered. So growing ourselves is really, really crucial. So for me, those four things. Yeah.
And I think it's good that I add to your point that, and basically it's not even adding, it's just, reiterating your point. TSC has this good program of teacher to teacher, that what is we call peer mentorship, where
Yeah.
I think even in your various institutions, you have seen this, where you as a junior or you as one of the teacher, you are given another teacher, a senior teacher who is supposed to mentor you to show you how to do this. I think that is one of the things that we really need to embrace as teachers for us to be able to be impactful as we are seeing. Now, Mr. Duke, you talked of the dimensions of impact, if you may allow me to call them so, the dimensions of impact that you want to, or that a teacher may choose to. But when you talk of these dimensions, our curriculum does not give us, that freedom to really choose which dimension you want to. But again, as a teacher, you want to impact. So how do we maneuver and be able to accommodate this?
Thank you, Bwana Ben. And for this, allow me say that before we get to the lesson objectives that we are supposed to teach, we draw them from the national goals of education. And from the national goals of education, they have carefully been selected, and they reflect upon all these dimensions that we talked about. So when those, or in any nation, in our case, it's Kenya, when we have the national goals of education, when we go through each and every one of them, you will get one touching on the social dimension. You will get one touching on economical dimension. You will get one touching on national. You'll get all these touching upon the impact, so that the learner, at the end of the day, at the end of the course, be it a primary school course, be it a secondary school course, be it a tertiary course, these have been impacted. And indeed, now when it comes to how to do it, that's why we said first it's about preparation. But allow me, Mr. Ben, appreciate this, that even as we graduate from our colleges ready to teach, sometimes I can say that you may not come 100% prepared with all the aspects of development or the impact that you should engage the learner in. So it involves constant interaction, first with the environment, two, with colleague teachers, three, with the learner, four, with the system or the government of the day, the policies that are put in place. And that's why we have had several reforms in education in a manner when the system or the administrators feel that the impacts are not coming out well. The learner is not being impacted as expected. For example, you are graduating a team of learners who cannot be self-innovative. That means that national goal that is attached to that particular point maybe was not well impacted. And then you'll get education reforms moving it from 844, moving to CBC. In this, what is being tried to coin, what we are trying to coin up, or what our governments are trying to do, they're trying to look for a way to bring attention to the attention of the teachers that there is still something that we expected to have happened to these learners. For example, when they come out of school and they are waiting for white collar jobs, then it means at some point, self-reliance, education for self-reliance, that goal was not well emphasized. That dimension was not well emphasized. But then in addition to that, I also want to say that when we allow ourselves to mentor one another, I could be good in terms of academic development of the learner, but I'm not so good when it comes to maybe social development. But there's my colleague or the physical development in terms of sporting and so on. But there's a colleague of mine who knows it better and maybe is innovative in terms of even activities that students can do while out there. So that kind of sharing and allowing ourselves to be flexible to learn from one another can really lead to teaching for an impact. You can impact learners through even learning from colleagues. That one I admit, that not all of us are best in all activities, but we can learn from one another, just like Madam Anne has observed. Thank you.
Well, and I completely concur with you. And again, you are, putting more emphasis on the same point of the need for us to learn from each other as colleagues instead of seeing as, I'm sorry to say this, but it happens where you find a staff room where some of our teachers are regarding themselves as superior, others are regarding themselves as inferior. Instead of getting to that, we get to see and tap into the strength of each one of us. And allow me to now leave that point at that and go back to what Madam Waboy Eva had mentioned earlier about students observing what we do as teachers. And that means that we as teachers are supposed to act as role models. But I don't think this is something that really happens. I don't think this is something that really triggers the mind of most of the teachers. Do you think it's something that is really there? And if it is not there, what do you think that we can do, Madam Waboy, to ensure our teachers have this?
So I think it is a 50-50 thing right now, because initially teachers were very rigid. We go to class, teach, do the P, do the guidance and counseling, and it is over. But now with the younger generation that has also gone through the technological changes, teachers have come to understand that it is wiser for them to be better people so that the students can emulate them. It is a very good feeling when you are in class and then after class, a student tells you, "Hey, teacher, how are you? I am fine. Today you look really nice. I'm a teacher. Thank you for doing 1, 2, 3, 4 for me." So I believe it is there, though not fully there, but teachers are really trying. For example, some things are done outside of class. Let's say you are a teacher you're the one in charge of music. Then music only happens in one term of the year, isn't it? But the music group is still there. What can you do other than doing the music itself? You can talk to the administration, get these students to the nearest place where they can do volunteer work. You're doing it with them. So they will learn from you that as a human being, it is good for you to also help to contribute to the growth of the outside world. So if there is a charitable organization near your school, the music group, when it is not music time, you can take them once or even twice a term to go and help out in that institution. And those are some of the ways I know teachers have really tried to go out of their way to at least mentor the students in them growing holistically.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's also good to mention this that, sometimes you might go to your admin and, the person in charge, in this case, our good principal tells you that, what, we don't have funds for that. It was not budgeted. And I think from what you are saying, Madam Eva, is that let's be creative on it's not always when we need money for us to be able to do this. And maybe the same question to you, Mr. Duke. What do you have to say about it? Bernard Duke, are you able to get me? Oh, all right, maybe as he tries to get his connection. Okay, Madam Happiness, do you have any contribution to that?
Okay, yeah, and sorry, I also dropped out when you were asking the question, but you asked whether how we are modeling.
Yes, how we teachers can be the role models, because it is not something that is very conspicuous in most of the schools as I walk around. Sorry, okay, privileged. I am privileged to have gone to a number of schools, and when I
Mhm.
walk into these schools, most of them, you see, I don't see the role model, the teacher who is a role model. And my question is, how can we be able to know, we as teachers, adapt that and be able to be role models versus a teacher at the same time?
Yeah. By the way, to be honest, it's not an easy question because sometimes with our learners, probably what would model out for them may be very, very different. But I think at our level, it's just trying to be modest, of course, and also trying to trying to outstand in the society. Because remember, these children, they are looking up to us for hope. Yeah, so as we tell them, remember, if we are telling them that if you do this, maybe you can have a better life, you can impact many people, but can they see that in you, because it's easy for a student to model out, and that is why I like your question. It's easy for them to model out what they are saying rather than what we are telling them. So it's just trying to walk the talk. Of course, what we are telling them, let's try to walk in it ourselves. And that one we can do by trying to be outstanding citizens so that they can see enyewe, even as Mr. Ben is telling this and that, we can see progress in his life. So we can be able to model that out and they can be able to see hope. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Happiness, for that. Maybe as I ask for Mr. Duke, your input, Mr. Duke, also try to bring your input and answer this question. Does the caliber of the student matter when you talk of impacting?
Thank you, Mr. Ben. Once again, I think I lost you at some point, but I've connected to what we are currently discussing.
Okay.
Before I respond to the two issues, allow me maybe look at it that teaching for an impact, as the topic is for today, we are looking at the learner, we are looking at the colleague, teacher, we are looking at the community as large. So you can impact any of these persons I've mentioned, even during your teaching or during your career as a teacher. But now, how can we be role models? That's a good question. And that now leads us to role model to who? That question. Once we answer it, then we'll be fine. You can be a role model to your learners. You can be a role model to your those people you are mentoring, or even a role model to the society or the community where you are as a teacher. Sometimes we've gotten teachers who are so excellent in school, within the confines of the school compound. But remember, once you move out of school, maybe you are in a vehicle, you are traveling by public or by private means. Still out there, we have children or we have citizens who are learners in other institutions, which is not your school. They still need to be affected. And this is what I call the community, or where you stay in your house, maybe not in school. We have children from that area who see you as a teacher. And therefore, that's why this question you've asked is very important. How can we be role models? My view and my take is the same as what the government takes, that as a teacher, you have to be professional, both in school and outside school, because you'll not know at that time when you're about to do something, the person around there is a learner but in another school and observes and looks up to you as a teacher and will expect a given behavior from you. So sometimes we've forgotten this, and once we are outside our official school gate, sometimes as teachers, we become ourselves. Of course, it's important to live as yourself because you will not, let me say this, you have to remain professional both in school and outside the school. And then secondly, it also involves going an extra mile. Sometimes we've seen cases where teachers go for contests like the Teacher of the Year award and such like. And among the things they assess and they look for is what have you done beyond just the confines of the classroom? That's going an extra mile. If you are talented in a given area, maybe like my case in sciences, and you mentor a learner to develop some scientific project, and this learner with time develops up and comes up with that idea, and it becomes maybe a business idea in future. This learner will forever live to remember you, that the impact, what I was given maybe about improvising a solar to generate some energy is what I'm using to earn and feed my family for. This learner will never forget you. You will have an impact forever. So that impact created will be long lasting. Then you ask a question that all learners, they fall in this caliber. I can say that no learner is born with special gifts, I can say. All these are acquired. No learner comes on earth ready with the knowledge and how to live on this earth. But then as he interacts with the environment, the learner gets influenced positively, or the environment can influence the learner negatively. So in this case, Bwana Ben, I can say that there is no caliber of learners who cannot be impacted positively. It will all depend with the dedication. And remember, as I said from beginning, that to impact is not a one-day activity. Sometimes we give up too early, or too we give up before even trying to put some little effort. Before any impact is meaningfully achieved, it has to be repeated over time. Before raising up your hands and saying, enough is enough, I've given up, this learner cannot make it, we have ended up casting learners for sure, and cutting short their dreams because we see for them. But what is in them? Look at, for example, Ben Carson, the way he had been rejected and like he could not measure up academically. But who is the best surgeon, neurosurgeon that we have? Ben Carson. Why? This learner, if we were to classify Ben Carson in terms of caliber, he could not have measured maybe. So sometimes that's why we have seen the whole issue of impact should not be measured academically. It can also be seen as the potential that is in this learner that you can also utilize. We've had cases, and congratulations to such teachers, who have identified a talent, maybe in a learner like athletics or football. This learner, cannot write a chemical equation. But then this teacher realizes that this learner can do what? Can run, and mentors that talent. And this learner wins a gold medal, comes back home, and impacts a whole society. So even when we are looking at teaching for an impact, you may think that you are impacting this particular learner, but in the real sense, when this learner is well impacted, it will impact generations. And that's the broad topic that we are discussing today. Not just impacting a single learner, but by spillover effect, this learner will also impact generations to come. Thank you.
And that's why I always say that we teachers, we are not only generational shapers, we are also future builders, because when you impact that one student out there, it's a student who is going to be impacted for the rest of his life and or her life, and the product will be seen in the future. Maybe that time I'll be long gone. Okay, but I pray that every teacher lives to see the fruits of what she did. Well, he was in power. Now, as we add this one, because it's quite a detailed conversation that we are having, and it is a broad topic that we are trying to scratch, because we cannot get deep into it. As we conclude this, Madam Eva, to bring you back, um, all this we've said, and as I listen to it, it revolves around our willingness to do it. How can we cultivate for that willingness? Because truth be told, most of the teachers out here, we teachers, we are focused on to what I get rather than on to what I give. How can we be able to be motivated to teach for an impact, bring that willingness back to life for me to be able to impact a student?
First of all, I believe this is an individual decision. We have two types of teachers. We have the teacher that teaches and go home, so teach and go, and we also have the teacher who teaches, then motivates, then goes. So it is an individual decision. You have to make a choice. What type of teacher do I want to be? Do I want to be just the teacher who goes to class and teaches the English, Kiswahili, science, biology thing? Or do I want to do that? Then after that, have a few more minutes or hours to also mold and shape the student. So if you decide what type of teacher you are, then you can take the next step, which is first go educate yourself on how would you like to impact the student now? Is it on their sports, or is it mental health, or is it their life at home, or is it generally, what is it that you feel is the best topic for you to handle with a student, not classwork, so the outside world. Then after that, you can now pick time to help the learner. And again, don't overdo it, because if you overdo it, it becomes too much on you. You are overwhelmed. And human beings, anytime we are overwhelmed, what do? We run away. We say it is too hard, it is too difficult for us to do. So I would encourage every teacher who is willing to impact a learner, do it one step at a time. First, make the decisions that will form the basis of your mentorship. So, what is it you want to do with the learner? Do you want to teach them how to be self reliant, or do you want to teach them to be creators, like the other teacher has just said? Do you want to teach them to be writers or to be musicians? What is it that you want to impact in them after classwork? Then after that, you can now do it bit by bit until you can now see the result. But when you do it a lot, all everything together, then it becomes too much and you cannot do anything. So one thing at a time is the best way to be a role model or a mentor to your student.
Basically telling us to choose the area to which you want to impact, just as
Yes.
the different dimension from the different dimension that we are given Mr. Diko. Madam
Mm.
Happiness, your input towards that?
Yeah. So, for me, I think it all comes down to remembering that it's a calling. And when we say that, it does not rub well with everyone, because some people are there to pay the bills and all that. But I believe if you're able to self-evaluate and introspect and know that really this is my calling, you induce some passion there, then you will definitely be very motivated to go out of your way and to just help those students. There's a quote that says, hurt people hurt others. And if we flip that, motivated people motivate others. So I don't know if you've met a teacher who is so passionate about their work, you will just tap into that passion. They are just themselves. It's flowing from within. So I believe if we are able to introspect and understand that this is more of a calling, and if you don't do it from that perspective, you will mess up a lot of lives and you will be frustrated. You will be very frustrated at the end of the day, because we know that if you're thinking about the money, really it may not motivate you as much, but when the motivation comes from within, you realize it's a calling, you induce some passion. When you go to those learners, they will tap into the passion and they will be able to feel the impact. Like, you cannot fail to impact if you're so passionate about what you're doing, because it comes out very natural. So for me, it's a matter of just tapping into the passion. If it's not there, maybe those are things we should look into. How can you cultivate passion, by the way? I don't know. Or can you cultivate a calling? I really don't know. But I feel like that is the core, at the core of it. Because when you listen to many teachers, they're like, man, we have, the pay is bad. So everyone is waking up in the morning so frustrated. So what are they taking to the classroom? Why? One guy is on board. Yeah, so what are they taking into the classroom? They are taking that frustration, yeah? So watachapa watoto, punishment, nini nini, and the impact is little or no. So if we're able to evaluate ourselves and know that really it's a calling, let's do it with a lot of passion and zeal, then I believe we'll be able to make great human beings. So if it's not, what next? Should you go out and find your passion? Then I don't know, but that's my input.
Wow,
Yes.
thank you so much. Really love how you've said it, that if you are motivated, you definitely motivate others, and if you are hurt, you definitely hurt others. One last question for you, Mr. Duke. Definitely, all this we have said, it revolves around an individual on and how I'm willing to do it. But maybe to ask you this: how can the school administration and management support teachers to teach for an impact?
Very well. A good question indeed. But again, takes us back to where we've just come from, that we are generational shapers. That for us to teach for an impact, first of all, we have to understand that apart from teaching being a calling, it's a duty also. That a duty calls for performance, that you have to do it. For example, let me take a scenario, a case of a driver. The duty of a driver is to drive the vehicle. So if we are in that vehicle, we are in that bus, we have to be taken to where we need to be. The duty of the driver is for that. Maybe there is a conductor who is collecting the fare, and that's the duty. They may hardly interchange. Maybe one is well fashioned with a given area. Now, when it comes to all this, we also have to remember that what goes around comes around. As a teacher, when you are planning to impact a learner, remember that this generation, another one will be coming where your own will also be handled. And therefore, what you are putting in now, you may get that the very doctor you are raising and the way you are impacting that doctor is the one who is going to treat you in your old age. And depending on how you'd shown the seriousness or how you had impacted this learner at that point, it will come to affect you at one point or another. Now, let me come to the question. I think as we look at the administration, we have structures. For one, we have programs, or what we call school routine. Administrators have come up with programs, or the programs with the Ministry of Education. Those are senior administrators, we can call them. Administration is at different levels. There is the administration from the employer. There is the administration from the Ministry of Education, who gives the policies. And all these are cascaded downwards to various levels: county, sub-county, and school level. And even within the school, we have administrative units like departmental head, subject head, and all these. We have curriculum and co-curriculum activities. We have clubs and all such. So what I can say is that the administrators have tried their best to lay down a guideline on how teachers can teach for an impact. And that's why, for instance, we have a timetable, we have time for maybe clubs, we have time for PE, we have time for sports, and these sports continue all the way from the local levels up to international levels. What is the aim of all this? Is to support the teaching that you are doing in class to be more impactful in terms of what the learner can get at the end of it. So this learner who is enclosed in school, by getting exposed and going to participate in a sporting activity with school B, there is an attitude that this learner will acquire that probably you could not have given it while in school. So this is the support of the administration. So what I can say is that the administrators need to identify those teachers with talent and allow them explore those talents through their learners, allow them expose the learners to those talents without suppressing. But I know because of financial constraints in one way or another, there have been limits to what extent maybe a school or an institution can participate in one or two activities. But the support from the administration is really key to have teaching for an impact, because you may have very brilliant ideas, but you cannot implement them maybe in your home. They have to be implemented to the learners in school. And in this case, it will take the hand of the administration to support and to realize that these activities are achievable. And to this extent, because of budgets and constraints here and there, we understand that sometimes limitations can be there. But where possible and within the available limits, teachers need to be supported so that their impact on learners can be felt.
Wow, absolutely. I cannot even put it in much better words than you've said it, Bwana Duke. So much. I really thank you people for volunteering to come on board and share your thoughts. I'm sure that our teachers out there are really learning, you know. So we got our good resourceful teachers, you know, very resourceful. So much information about how we can teach for an impact, you know, to experience that fulfillment that we are seeking for. As it has been said, that teaching is a vocation. And maybe to summarize this, I would give my good guest, each one of them, a chance to give their parting shots. And I start with Teacher Happiness.
Okay, thank you, Bwana Ben, and even for having us. I think my parting shot would be, sorry, there are students here, so don't worry. My parting shot would be in this whole teaching for an impact is just to have the attitude of an opportunity rather than an obligation. Let's look at it as an opportunity to shape lives rather than an obligation or a mandate. For me, that just shifts everything when you see it as an opportunity as opposed to an obligation. So thank you so much, Ben.
Wow, thank you so much. That we see it as an opportunity, not as an obligation. Wow. I'm just telling you people, you are, you know, dispensing wisdom, you know. Hey, I'm loving it. Yes, Madam Waboy, what do you have to say as your parting shots?
Okay, mine, I think I will say two things. First, teachers should always remember everything you do has a ripple effect. If you do bad today, that is going to affect your student in a negative way. And then as they grow older and have children, then that thing that you told them while they were students, they will tell it to their learners, to their children. Then their children will also grow into angry people because of something the teacher said 3 generations ago. So always remember, as a teacher, what you say sometimes affects the learner beyond themselves. And then a second one is, and my second and last is, always remember that learners are human beings. They have a weakness and they have a strength. So if you get to identify the two, please always elevate their strengths and then help them to work out through their weaknesses, because now that will also help them to grow up as a holistic individual. And that is it from me.
Hey, I just told you that you people are giving us a lot of wisdom. Madam Eva there says that everything that you do, remember that it has a ripple effect. I think teachers of physics like Mr. Duke can explain that using their physics terminologies, but I'm sure every other teacher gets that to understand that. Mr. Duke, your parting shots, please.
Thank you, Bwana Ben. Allow me say that teaching is one of those professions that involve human beings, just as my colleagues have said, that for real, while others deal with machines, teachers deal with human beings. you are dealing with a raw material that is reasoning as you do. So while you take a decision, you want to do something, they have even read your mind, and they know when you are happy, they know when you are sad. The learners, they can tell when you mean it and when you are doing it for the sake. So to teach for an impact, we really need to purpose, leave aside all other issues that will distract or disorient us in terms of impacting the learner. Because again, if I come to class or you want to impact the learner with other attachments emotionally, you will get this teacher expressing maybe personal issues, extending them to the classroom or to the school. So we have to purposefully or to intentionally decide that when I want to impact the learner, then I have to just concentrate and remain professional throughout. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Duke. There, at least Madam Happiness has also brought another guest on board. He is very much welcome. And we have it right there from Mr. Duke, who is a teacher, and Madam Waboi Eva, who is also a teacher at Roresho Secondary, and our good teacher who was there with us in our last episode. And also, she is here with us, Madam Happiness, who is also a health and wellness coach. Maybe you can check out through her YouTube channel, Happiness and Health, get to see what she is doing there. She's doing good job. Thank you so much, our good teachers, for also finding time and joining us in these discussions. We really hope that this topic has really helped you and you have learned a thing or two. Again, I would request you that follow us on our Facebook page, Mwalimu Affairs, and also you can also follow me on my YouTube channel at Rostoben, also my Facebook page at Rostoben. And I would request you, humbly request you, that we do the same thing next Saturday, coming Saturday, when we shall be talking about matters mental health for teachers. We shall be having some counseling psychologists who are also teachers with us, and please, you don't want to miss that. Please schedule that in your timetable, in your diary, in your schedule, that on Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m. we shall be having a session on mental health. Thank you so much, my good guest, for also scheduling time to be with us. I really appreciate it, and also I really acknowledge your sacrifice. Thank you so much, our good viewers. Let's meet in our next episode, episode 3, on Saturday, as we discuss matters health. Till now, next time, have yourself a good time.